You may be well into your financial journey and wondering if you're doing well financially. It feels like you're making progress, but you can't help but feel that you're not really going anywhere. It seems like you can always save more or make more money, not to mention that there's always a friend who seems to have it all figured out. It can be really hard to feel this way when looking at your financial situation, but you can gain a much clearer and more realistic perspective of your situation through some financial metrics that help measure just how well you're doing financially and whether you're progressing or not. Number 1, you have manageable debt. Debt is often seen as the villain of the financial world, so it's normal to think that if you have any debt, then you're not doing well financially. But this isn't the case at all if your debt is manageable and you're seeing progress in paying down your debt. It's best to not let yourself be deluded by the many people you see on social media or even your own friends spending lavishly and carelessly on extravagant trips or on fancy things. Chances are, they're in debt themselves, and if they're spending money on luxurious things, they may be very deep in debt. Instead of looking at other people's situations, take a look at your own. If you're working hard to pay off debt and it's steadily decreasing, then pat yourself on the back because you're doing well financially. Number 2, you have money in savings. Having an extra cushion of money in your savings account that you've set aside for any emergencies or even for things you love like traveling is a clear sign that you're doing well financially. At this point, you may be unhappy with how small your savings account is, especially if it's an emergency fund when you want to have 3 to 6 months of expenses saved up. But don't worry, building up a solid emergency fund takes time. But the fact that you're doing it at all shows how great you're doing regarding your finances. Do you want to know the best way to save for an emergency fund? If so, then get this video to 200 likes and we'll make a video about it. Number 3, you have a steady source of income. It's really simple, but having a steady source of income is an excellent indicator that you're doing well financially. Just because you're not bringing a few $100,000 a year doesn't mean you're not doing well. Obviously, you may feel like you're not making as much as you want, which is usually the case for most people. Fortunately, there are many ways to make more. For instance, you can ask for a promotion or gain skills that allow you to move further in your career. You can train and study for an entirely new and more lucrative career, or you can supplement your current income through side hustles. At the end of the day, your earned income is hands down the biggest factor in building wealth. So having a good and steady income is already a wonderful factor that you're financially well off. Number 4, your net worth is increasing. Interestingly enough, it's more common to see net worth decreasing than to see it increasing. A typical cause of this is people borrowing a lot of money and not having the ability to pay it back quickly or at all. 2 common loans that bring people's net worth down, or even in the negative, is credit cards and student loans, both of which many people suffer from. It can be hard to visualize the growth of your net worth since you'll need data over the course of several years. However, if you find that the general trend is upward, even if you have some years where net worth doesn't increase or even decreases a little, it should tell you that you're doing great. Over time, you can expect the majority of your net worth to depend on your assets, and it's normal for asset prices to fluctuate over time. So as long as there's any sign of growth, you should feel happy to know you're doing well. Growing your wealth can be tough, and so can saving money. Fortunately, at Investors Weekly, we cover all sorts of tips to help you learn the best ways to save. So if you want to learn more, then subscribe to the channel. Number 5, you're insured. One of the biggest factors of being financially well off is that you've secured your finances through insurance. It significantly reduces risk and can help you out of extremely difficult and unexpected situations without totally destroying your finances. 4 of the most important insurances are home insurance, which protects from all sorts of destructive events like a fire or flood, car insurance, which protects against accidents, health insurance, which can help curb the monstrous bills that come with health issues, and life insurance if you have a family that depends on your income. There are likely more insurances than this, but if you have all of these insurance types, then you are doing the right thing. Number 6, you can control your spending. Being financially well doesn't mean you're the richest person, but sticking to a budget and spending within your means does. In fact, the first step in managing your finances is to control the flow of cash, and many people struggle with this. For example, something as simple as spending extra on groceries for items you don't need over an extended period of time can set you back years from where you could be. Unfortunately, spending has become incredibly easy, making impulsive spending much more common. There are several tricks to help curb impulse spending, but the most commonly used one is to have a time filter. For example, if you want to purchase an item, wait a specific amount of time, usually 72 hours, before you make the purchase. If it's an impulsive purchase, chances are that you won't want the item anymore. It's safe to say that if it shows on paper that you can control your spending, then you're definitely on the right track. Number 7, money isn't a worry. It's normal to worry about money regardless of your financial position, from the richest person to the poorest. But the difference between the two is that people who are financially well off won't lose sleep over most money-related problems. A person who's financially stable understands that they are in control of their money flow and that everything is going according to plan. And even if things don't go to plan, they have insurance and an emergency fund to protect them from it. The better you manage your money, the less you worry about the payments you need to make every month, and the clearer the sign that you're doing well financially. Money worries are a real problem for many people, and it can cause extreme anxiety, even if you're well off. Let us know in the comments below, what are some of the biggest worries you have about money, and what did you do to get over them? Number 8, you can pay your bills on time. This may come as a surprise to you, but if you can pay your bills on time, even if you're not in the top 1% of your age range, you are doing well financially. Paying important bills on time, like mortgage, rent, utilities, and car payments, should make you feel less stressed because there are many people who can't afford their current living situation and have to pick and choose what bills to pay. Paying bills late causes all sorts of problems, like late fees or lowering your credit score. For instance, if you can't pay your rent, then after some time, you'll be evicted from your home. Or if you're late paying your student loans, the school or a hired company will come after you to collect the payments. If you've never had to worry about late fees, then you're doing great. Number 9, you're investing your money. It's an accomplishment if you're investing your money in accounts like a 401k, IRA, or stocks, because there are many people who aren't even thinking about this. In fact, even purchasing a home is already a fantastic investment that will serve you for a lifetime. You may feel behind because you don't have a multi-million-dollar portfolio that allows you to retire at 30, but this is an extremely rare occurrence, despite seeing several YouTube influencers having accomplished this. As long as you're investing a little bit of money every month, then you should feel proud. It's important to recognize the small achievements you make in your finances, because the big picture is really just several small pictures added together. The more you take care of the small details, the more you'll see how it impacts the big picture, namely your growing wealth and how you're financially well off.